Welcome back to the Scratch programming course. We were programming an analog clock. In the last lecture, we learned how to program the second hand. In this lecture, which is the final one, we are going to learn how to program the minute hand and the hour hand. Now, let us get into the programming of the minute hand. Programming the minute hand is quite similar like programming the seconds hand. To start with, let us add a when flag click block. We want the minutes hand 2 to be in the center of the screen at the starting. To do that, let us add go to XY position block and set both the values to 0. Similar to the seconds hand, we will add a forever loop and a point in direction block inside the forever loop. Similar to the second sprite, for 60 minutes it is 360 degrees. Therefore, for each minute, the minute hand needs to turn 6 degrees. Let us plug in a multiplication operator to the point in direction block. Let us set the first value of the multiplication operator to 6, that is 6 degrees. Let us set the second value of the multiplication operator to the current block, which is in the sensing category. Let us select the minute option in the drop down of the current block. Now that we have finished programming the minute hand sprite, let us test it out. Yes, the minute hand sprite is working correctly according to the current time in your computer. Now that we have finished programming the minute hand sprite, we can move on to the hour hand sprite. Let us start by dragging a when flag click block. Let us add a go to XY position block and set both the values to 0, which is in the center of the screen. Now let us add a forever loop. Like in the previous sprites, let us add a point in direction block to it. Now in this sprite, for 12 hours it is 360 degrees. So for each hour, the hour hand needs to move 30 degrees. To do that, let us plug in a multiplication operator. And let us set the first value of the multiplication operator to 30, that is 30 degrees. And like in the previous sprites, let us set the second value of the multiplication operator to the current block, which is in the sensing category. Let us select the R option in the drop down of the current block. Now, let us click the green flag and check out our code. Yes, it is showing the correct hour, but most of the clocks we see, if the time is 1:30 or after that, the hour hand will be in middle of 1 and 2. But our clock won't do that. To make it that accurate, let us drag out the multiplication operator in the point and direction block. Let us add a plus operator instead in the place. Let us set the first operand of the plus operation to the multiplication operation. Let us set the second value to another multiplication operator. Let us set the first value of it to 0.5 degrees. And let us set the second value to the current block and select the minute option in the drop down of it. Now, if we test it out, it will show the time correctly according to our clocks. Yay! We completed programming the analog clock. Meet you in the next section of the course. Until then, goodbye.